just over 3 weeks post my national show. I've pretty much been recording almost every day for the last 6 months to bring out weekly vlogs for my Ifbb Bikini debut. And for the first time since then, I haven't recorded anything since the day of my last show. So it's been nice, to be honest, to just have a break from recording everything, because it's something, like when you're vlogging, it's something that's always in the back of your mind, like I should be recording this, or can't forget to record this, and then when you do forget to record things, you're like, oh, I should have recorded that. Yeah, it's been nice to just not have to worry about that. And I know that this is all completely my choice, like nobody's forcing me to record anything, but it's just something that I've been wanting to do for YouTube, and I'm actually really proud of myself for keeping my word and just being able to document everything, the entire prep, and people have really enjoyed it, and that makes me really happy that, you know, like I obviously did this for me, but I'm glad that it's been helping other people as well through their prep or just like for entertainment purposes. So yeah, it was a lot of fun and I'm back. I don't really know what my plans are for YouTube, but I do have a question about that, so I am going to get into that a little bit later. I thought I would jump on and sort of talk about my prep and my competition and post-show a little bit, and get into some of the Q&A questions that I have received. So yeah, let's jump into it. First of all, just ignore my frizzy fluffy hair that I'm going to keep playing with, because it's not going to stay out the way. And I have a night shift tonight and I don't plan on going anywhere today, so I'm not wearing any makeup and I'm not gonna bother with my appearance. And you guys have seen me probably at my worst at times during my prep, so there's no point in me trying to look too presentable right now. It has been 3 weeks since I finished my last competition in Melbourne. I have been reverse dieting, so my calories initially got bumped up probably by about 500, and as you know, my calories got pretty low. It was just under 1,100 at its lowest, and so initially it got bumped up to about 1,600, and it's currently at just over 1,700. And in that, I'm having like 2 free meals a week, otherwise I'm sticking to my meal plan. And my meal plan has pretty much just been a bit more carbs, a bit more fats, and protein just staying the same. So I've had a lot more energy, which is probably my favorite part about that. Other than being less hungry, I have just had more energy. Even just right now, like talking to the camera, I feel like my words can come to me a lot quicker. Like my brain is just working. I've definitely noticed a big shift in my mood. I'm less hangry and less irritable. I'm sure Jasper's appreciating that a lot more than I am. Yes, I've just been sort of ticking along. I had a couple weeks at the gym where I was just training for fun. And then actually I think it was just the 1 week where I was just training for fun, and then I got back into a program, and I've been training with that new program for the last 2 weeks, and I'm really enjoying it. I've been smashing out a lot of shoulders because of the feedback I was given, which I'm going to get into that as well. But I've been smashing some shoulders and of course some glutes, but training 4 days a week at the moment, which is like the sweet spot for me. I like training 4 days a week and having the 3 rest days. I feel like I can just really go hard in the gym and then recover well and then come back, and I look forward to it, instead of, you know, when you're overtraining and you're dreading having to go and you're just sore and tired. So yeah, it's been good so far. Getting that passion back in the gym, because towards the end of prep you start to dread it. You just sort of want to get in and out, and you're not feeling the pump, you're not feeling the muscles working, you just feel like you're moving bones around. And you feel like it's not doing a whole lot, because obviously at that point you're not gaining any muscle, you're just pretty much burning off some energy and trying to maintain the muscle that you have. And so it's been nice to think that to feel the muscles working and to think that I could be starting to build again. Unlikely. I'm probably just getting more of a pump now, and as my calories increase I'll start to gain some more muscle, but yeah, it's been feeling good at the moment. Yeah, so that's what's happening currently. I've been enjoying some sweet treats here and there as well. It's been nice to have a little bit of flexibility. Like, I'm sticking to my meal plan 95% of the time, but like if someone hands me a favorites chocolate or like a lolly or something, I'm not going to say no to that like I did in prep, you know, because I can, and I'm being smart about it. And you know what, like if I've got strawberries in my meal plan and I'm at an event and there's some strawberries there, I'm going to have a handful of strawberries, and then I just won't have it later in my meal plan. Like, it doesn't have to be all weighed out to the gram anymore, and those things aren't very calorie dense. So, you know, I'm just trying to be a bit more flexible with myself and try not to feel guilty about it too, because I was quite strict, not just during prep, but during my off season beforehand. I was pretty strict, and that's something I sort of want to let go of a bit during this off season, because I know when I'm sticking to my meal plan, I tend to overthink my off plan meals. And I wouldn't say I'd go too far, but I would try to see how much I can fit into my free meals, because I'm almost like restricting myself during the other days. So I think this time around, if I've given myself a bit more flexibility every day, then I'm not going to be so hyper fixated on my off plan meals. That's my thought process anyway. When I competed for states, I believe my weight was 55.3, and then I managed to lose, I think it was like 1.5 kilos for nationals. So I got to 53.8, and that was the lowest weight I got to ever and like during my prep at all. And I'm currently sitting this morning at 55.1, so I weigh less than what I did for states but more than what I did for national. So I'm sort of sitting in between. Body composition wise, like I've definitely filled out, like my muscles are filled out with the more carbs and just more food volume in general. And I can feel like there's a bit more inflammation there, because I would have spent the last few weeks of prep deloading. So since I've been back at training properly, I can feel that inflammation there and I can see it. So less lines and just looking more full. Not necessarily a bad thing, but that's pretty much all the changes I've been seeing in my composition. Like it is likely that I have gained fat as well, but I feel like a lot of the changes that I'm seeing are just that inflammation and having fuller muscles. So like my stage condition, I was lean, but I wasn't super lean like a lot of athletes. I definitely wasn't lean enough, which is like part of the feedback that I got as well from the judges. But I feel like if I was heaps leaner, like I would have gained a lot more weight by this point. But because I wasn't really heaps lean in the first place, there's not really a necessity for me to put on weight really quickly. So for me to only have gained 1 kilo and a bit thus far, like it's not really concerning that I haven't been putting on weight too quickly. The idea, like from the discussions I've had with my coach, is to just try and maintain a healthy body composition. Like the peak point of my off season before prep, like I had way too much fat, and we are just not going to get to that stage ever again. That's the plan, is to just not is to just try and gain muscle slowly and properly, maintain a healthy and strong body composition, so then next time we prep we are going to be in a better position and hopefully not have to dig as hard. One of the other main focuses is going to be my endocrine health. So as I've spoken about before with my period and my experience coming off the pill and how that's affected my hormones, how I haven't been menstruating. If you want to know more information about that, I have got a YouTube video on that in one of my prep vlogs. I'm pretty sure it's in the title of my video. So if you want to know more about that, I've got a whole story time on that during my prep series, my Ifbb debut series. So I'll see if I can link the video here, but yeah, if you want to know more about that, that's in there. But pretty much one of my main goals is to try and get my period back, to try and get a regular cycle back. It's not necessarily linked to me having been in prep. It's more so an issue that I had beforehand. Obviously being in prep wouldn't have helped that situation at all. So we're just gonna see what we can do. I had my bloods done this morning actually, so we're gonna get those results back and see what things are looking like. Hopefully it's looking pretty good. Maybe I'll do another YouTube video after I get that back. Yeah, enough of me rambling on about everything. I'm gonna get into the Q&A questions. I did put this up, I think it's been a couple of weeks that I put up my Q&A box for you guys to ask some questions, either about my prep, my debut, post-show, like literally anything. And I got a few questions, so I just picked some of the ones that I thought would be better to talk about. Don't have too many because I didn't want it to be a super long video, given I'm talking about a lot of other things as well. Okay, so first question is, what was your favorite part about the whole thing? And that is such a hard question to answer because I loved the whole thing. As much as I seemed like I was either struggling or I was just tired or hungry or irritable, sore, like those things are inevitable and they come with bodybuilding and prepping, and I knew that going into it, but like all in all, I really loved the whole process. I loved my off season, the prep, the competing, and even this stage now. I'm loving this stage at the moment of being in a reverse diet post show. But my favorite part, I'd have to say the days leading up to my first competition, like my state show and nationals, where I had met some girls that I've now become friends with, and hanging out with them, talking to them, spending time with them, relating to each other and just like having fun with it. That was probably my favorite part about it all, because this whole journey, as I've spoken about before, has been quite lonely for me. Like I didn't really have many close friends in bodybuilding, especially some that are competing at the same time as me. Like I do have some friends in bodybuilding that have previously competed or plan on competing, but sort of on a different timeline to me. And it's just been really nice to have other people there. So yeah, I've met some beautiful girlfriends and I'm very, very grateful for that. And that's probably been my favorite experience about it all so far. But other than that, I'd probably say, what I value the most about the whole thing was probably the prep leading into show. Like I value that process and how that has like contributed to my personal and like character development, I suppose. Yeah, so I value that and it being one of my favorite parts about it. Another question, and I know this is low-key a joke, but they said tanning routine with like a couple emojis like this, so but I do want to talk about the tan a little bit because that was like a wild and humbling experience. So as I've mentioned in previous videos, my States tan, I had to get a double layer for the first tan. So usually you spend 3 days getting a layer of tan each. So you do the first tan, wash it off, second tan, sleep in it, and then tan day of show. And obviously don't wash that off. And because I had work commitments, I had to do a double layer of tan and sleep in that. So I never got to wash off my tan to begin with and then have another layer the next day. And what I noticed with that was like it looked fine. I didn't have any issues with it day of competition. But what I noticed with that was that it just felt so much thicker than when I had my nationals tan. And I think that did come down to like it not only being a double layer, but not being able to wash it off for the first round. And so I just felt like I didn't properly dry, like I was just sticky the whole time. I felt like I made more of a mess around the house, like everything I touched had tan on it, the toilet seat, let's not talk about that. And like for the first competition I had, like my hand position wasn't very good. It was sort of on my stomach more than on my hip. And I had a lot of smudging there after the show. I think if I had done my tans properly, it probably wouldn't have smudged as much, but it doesn't really matter because obviously my hand was covering it. But that was for the first show. And then for nationals, I did it the correct way where you have the first layer and you get to wash it off and then go back the next day. And I was a little bit stressed because it was raining in Melbourne and I was worried that I was going to get stuck in the rain. But I had the tan done in the morning. I literally got off the plane, jumped straight on a bus, took the bus straight to Tans at Doherty's gym. I literally had my suitcase with me, so I had to like leave my suitcase out the front. Had my tan done and then I checked into the apartment that I was staying in. So it was just like, I think I've said this before in my last vlog, but yeah, it was just like go, go, go. Like lucky my flight wasn't delayed. I'm sure something would have worked out fine, but yeah, it was just one place to the next to the next. And yeah, so when I checked into the apartment, the people were looking at me like, whoa, like that's an intense tan, especially because they tan your face as well. And with the blonde hair, the contrast just would have been, it would have looked stupid, but doesn't matter. I feel like I spent that whole weekend in Melbourne just looking dirty. Like I just always had my hair up in a bun so that my tan didn't stick to it, and I just had this gross tan and no makeup, and I was always wearing baggy clothes, and that was just the whole weekend until you get glammed up and you're on stage. Yeah, so for the second tan, after I had that done properly over the 3 days, I felt like it was less sticky and it dried properly. It could also have been the weather because I did, like I'd have the tan done and then I'd go and spend time with people outside and like go for walks and stuff like that. So I felt like being outside instead of just being at home straight after the tan, it made it dry properly. So that could have been part of it. But yeah, I felt like the second time around it was much better and my posing was better. Like I had the right hand placement on my hip rather than on my stomach, and that stopped some of the smudging. But the pro tan is actually really impressive. Like when they do it, it looks so patchy and smeary and it looks like it's dripping down and you're like, whoa, this is gonna look awful. And then all of a sudden it just dries immaculate. Like that pro tan is so good. And I feel like the smell of it is going to be so nostalgic now because it has a specific smell. And whenever I smell it on like some remainder of it on like in my gym bag or on clothing or stuff like that I hadn't yet washed, it just like, it's nostalgic to me now because it just reminds me of competing, and I can't wait to smell that again because it makes me think of being on stage, and I love that. So that was the tanning routine. Between states and nationals, having to wash that off like I anticipated was a nightmare. But seeing some of the other girls that had tried to maintain their tan, I'm glad that I spent the week scrubbing it off. Like I was using tan remover and I was using baby oil and I was just lathering myself in that and exfoliating every single day. Top half of my body came off really well. Sort of did get stuck on the elbows and the wrists, like all the dry areas and sort of like under my armpits and stuff, that did stick a little bit, but my legs, I really struggled to get it off my legs. And by the time it came to having my tans done again, I probably just had little tiny patches here and there, and they could not care less. They were like, it's fine. Some of the other girls had tried to maintain their tan, and it was still like, it looked like they all just had like a very light layer still, but with some patchiness. So, and all in all, I think everyone had a beautiful tan by the end of the day, and it didn't really matter how much you had exfoliated or not. But I am glad that I managed to exfoliate all of mine off before having my layers done again. After the national show, I didn't exfoliate until like maybe a week after. I just sort of let it do its thing, and I was hoping that if I just moisturized every day that it would just like maintain and slowly fade, but it just got really patchy and gross. That's what happens when you have 3.5 layers of tan on, because right before you go on stage they also touch you up with a little bit extra, so technically it's like 4 layers of tan. But it's off me now. I feel like it took 2 weeks to like fully get off, but I did have to exfoliate at some point and use tan remover to get it off. It was really bad on my hands and my knuckles and wrists and on my legs as well. So it's off now, and I was pale for a little bit, and now I'm just using like a gradual tan at the moment. And I'm using that Bali Body Clear Gel that I've mentioned in one of my vlogs before, and I asked if anyone had used that, and I don't think anyone had. So yeah, it was on sale at Woolworths, so I got it, and I've applied it once and it's pretty good. But yeah, I'm just going to use that to sort of make me look less pale in this cold weather. It was also very humbling. Like the whole tanning during the States show, you are pretty well hidden. Like you don't, like you go into your tanning booth and you get naked, and then like you clothe yourself in the booth. But when it came to nationals and there was that many girls being tanned, they just had booths like facing each other, like rows of 5 and 5, and then like one like this, and then the tanning ladies are in the middle, and they just come around and spray you, and you just stand there butt naked, and like you're looking across from another girl who's butt naked as well, along with like 3 others that you can see. So you pretty much just like, your dignity's gone. You're butt naked, you're sticking your butt out to them, and you just stand there like this. And many girls have seen me naked, and I've seen them naked. So very humbling experience. But it is what it is. Like I knew that was gonna happen, maybe not to that extent at nationals, but honestly, who cares? Like we're all women, and it doesn't really bother me that much. Enough about the tans. Now the question is, are you going to continue YouTube? I've absolutely loved watching you. Thank you. I love that whoever asked this absolutely loves watching me. That's lovely. I don't really know what my plans are for YouTube. My thoughts so far have just been that I don't plan on doing weekly vlogs again anytime soon, unless I'm prepping again. But I think I might just do videos sort of like this, like every now and then I might do a Q&A, or I might just do an update on maybe how my reverse is going, and then when I'm in a building phase I might just do an update for that. Maybe I might do like a day in the life. Yeah, I don't know, just sort of things, different things. But I'm not gonna do weekly vlogs like I did in prep. That was very prep related, and that's its own album in YouTube. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking so far. At the moment, I'm sticking to just recording on my phone. I do want to look into getting a little like handheld camera. My friend has one of those, what's it called? Actually, a couple of my friends have it. What are they? DJO or something? Or Osmo? I don't know. The little handheld cameras that have the little screens, and you can flip it and it sort of tracks you. Like I might get one of those, but again, it's just money that I don't have to be spending. Like my phone, with the settings that I have on it, I can just make it look HD anyway. I don't know, you might not think so, but I'm not really bothered. So I'm just gonna stick to recording on my phone for now. And it's easy because I've always got my phone on me, so I can just carry it around and pick up and record whenever. So yeah, that's my plans at the moment for YouTube. Yeah, but it's been nice to give myself a little bit of a break. I think I might put up a poll or something on my Instagram to get your opinions on what you'd like to see from my YouTube. Another question is, do you wish you did anything differently during your prep that you'll take through to your next? Like I said before, like I was pretty on the ball during prep. I wouldn't say I'd do anything differently. I felt like I did everything that I could possibly do within my power to make it the best that it could have been. I'd say, and this isn't really something that, like I wouldn't change anything for the world. I'm so glad that I did it the way I did it when I did it. I would just say that next time I don't want to be studying and I don't want to be in the middle of like building a house and moving all at the same time. And I'm so grateful for that experience because it really built me into the person that I am today. Like I feel like I have so much resilience and strength and just view myself as a very strong and hardworking person now, more than I did before prep. But it was a lot. Like it was a lot on my body and my fatigue, like mental and physical fatigue. Like it was not the best position to have been in during a prep. I made it work, and like I stuck to my word. I made it work no matter what. But to be able to allow myself to prep more efficiently and to give myself a bit more grace and let my body not have to work as hard to get to the position that I was in. I think it would be ideal to prep without having other commitments. So if I were to do anything differently for future preps, I would just not be studying. And I don't plan on studying anytime soon. Like I'm done with that for now. You guys saw me in struggle town with that during my prep in my vlogs. Yeah, I feel like that would benefit me a lot to just be able to focus on prep and prep alone with nothing else in the background going on. But I wouldn't change anything for the world. I'm glad of how everything turned out for me. Other than that, I wouldn't change anything. I've just got one more question. It is, how do you manage post-prep? And then they said, I'd done a photo shoot on Thursday and binged. Now, I think I got this question the week after nationals. So it seems like this athlete, within a few days of competing, had done well, like did their photo shoot. I don't know if this is an athlete or they just like got into condition for a photo shoot or both, but it seems like after the photo shoot, they were just like, okay, stuff it, I'm gonna binge now because I'm done. Now, going back to the question, it says, how do you manage post-prep? Like this is the first time I've had a post-prep, so I don't really have like a way that I manage, but how I'm managing at the moment would be, I'm just sticking to the plan. Like my coach has given me a meal plan and he's told me I can have 2 free meals a week. So I'm doing that, and I'm obviously like training and drinking water, doing steps in the way that I'm being told to do. And then with my free meals, I'm just sort of being cautious around that. Like I'm sort of giving myself a certain amount of calories that I'd get to for the day. And I just work my meals in around that. And I'm just trying to be cautious of like how much fat is in that. Like obviously I'm going to be having more fats than what I'm programmed to have when I'm not having an off-plan meal, but I'm not overdoing it. And I know that this is easier said than done because I understand that post-show is a very sensitive period for athletes, and I'd say particularly women, as your hormones are being almost like triggered in a way as you're starting to introduce more foods, and like your guards are down now that you're not in like fight or flight because you're not in prep anymore. And that food noise is really high, and once you start eating something you feel like you can't stop, or you're having thoughts of like, I have nothing to work towards now, so it doesn't matter, so I'm just gonna binge, and it feels good in the moment but then you feel guilty afterwards. Like I've done this whole binge and restrict stuff years ago, before I started my gym journey and my bodybuilding journey. Like I've been there, and I feel like that is how I'm able to manage this post-show phase really well, because I've been there before, and I understand how it feels afterwards when you have binged or when you have overdone it a little bit and that guilt sits with you. And I don't like that feeling, and I've worked really hard to be able to fight against that. And that's not to say that sometimes I don't still struggle. Like my food noise has been there since I've finished prep, but I'm trying not to listen to it too much. I'm trying to remind myself that I feel good when I eat what's on my meal plan. I also feel good when I have some of these off-plan meals and these sweet treats, but I feel my best when I balance it well. Like I have had some off-plan meals where maybe I've pushed it a little bit, and I just, like, I'm not used to how small my stomach is at the moment, and I'll eat and I won't eat very slow. Like I won't eat slow enough, so then it hits me a little bit later. Like I'll feel full, but then in an hour's time I'm like really full because it just hadn't hit me yet, and I just haven't realized that I can't eat as much volume as I used to. I can't eat these like really high fiber or high carb foods as much as I used to. Like it just doesn't sit as well with me anymore. So I guess it's just a little bit of like trying to balance everything out and reintroducing some foods, a bit of trial and error, you'd say. But I just want to say that with you binging, like I've said this before, I've listened to so many podcasts, so many YouTube videos, followed along with other athletes' journeys post-shows, and this is one of the most common experiences post-show, is that women and males, all athletes, a lot of them will binge post-show, and it might not be just a one-off experience of binging and then feeling guilty and then getting back on track. Like this is a thing that some people, they'll binge, feel guilty, get back on track, and then binge again, or they might have like a whole week of binging and then just is like an unconscious thing for them. And like it's not, I wouldn't say it's normal, because it's that response of having been restricted for so long, but it is a very common experience, and you shouldn't feel, it's understandable to feel guilty, but you shouldn't feel guilty. Understand that this is a very common experience for athletes, and I think if you just give yourself a moment to tune back in with what you feel will benefit you the most, what your goals are, like your short-term goals, what do you feel like you need to achieve now, and for you to feel your best, and not so much look your best, because the goal post-show more so is to focus on health and like your energy and just recovery. I think you just need to sort of tune back into that and stop looking at the future, like the far future of your next competition, or where you were at during your peak and your prep and when you looked your leanest, to just sort of focus on the present and just sort of tune in with your body and take things slow, one moment at a time, because it is overwhelming. It's a lot, and it's hard to, because you are going to think about what you looked when you looked your best at your peak, and you're gonna stress about gaining a lot of weight, but then because you're so deprived, you're gonna want to eat all these yummy sweet treats, and you're gonna be overwhelmed with all the foods that you can eat, and you are gonna have thoughts of like, oh well, it's not really gonna affect me because I'm lean at the moment and I can just eat whatever and I'm only gonna gain so much weight. But yeah, you just gotta be careful. You just gotta think smart about it. You gotta stay in the present, and yeah, you just gotta work on that willpower, I guess. And talk to people. If you're struggling, talk to someone, talk to other athletes. I'm sure, like, everyone is in a different position post-show, but I'm sure they will understand. There's always gonna be some sort of thoughts in their head that they can probably relate to. Talk to your coach. God forbid, do not leave your coach. I've heard that so many times of athletes leaving their coach straight after, unless you have a really shitty coach and they are not helping you whatsoever. That is the only time I'd recommend leaving your coach. But if you have a good coach, let them guide you. Listen to what they have to say. Yeah, and if it goes beyond that and it's more of like an eating disorder territory, especially if this is something that continues on for more than just a few weeks post-show, see someone professional, because that's something else in itself. And I'm not going to extend on that because I'm not a psychologist or anything, but that's my take on that. That's all the questions I'm going to answer for today, otherwise this is going to be a very long video. My plans for the future, at the moment I've sort of got season A 2028 penciled in, but I'm taking a lot of other things into consideration. Like, competing was very expensive and I'd like to do a lot more, like Jasper and I would like to do a lot more with our money, like putting it into the house, maybe going on a holiday, yeah, things like that. So going to take some time off of competing, but I definitely want to come back, and I want to come back better and with more muscle, and I want to come back leaner. I just want to bring a whole new package, and so I want to spend the next 2 years just really making that happen. That's just sort of penciled in at the moment. We will see how things go. I'm really focused on my endocrine health as well, so I don't really want to push anything unless I'm in a good position health-wise to do so. So that's my plans, but I might extend on that on another video. But I hope you enjoyed this one. Thank you so much for watching another YouTube video. Please like and subscribe, and yeah, tune into my Instagram. It's just my first and last name, Demi Witt, for any updates or for polls that I might put out to get your opinions on what you'd like to see on my YouTube. So yeah, thanks so much. Bye.